Hi, welcome to the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm Leslie Durham. I am the interim dean of the college, and I am so happy to welcome you today. I wish I had the opportunity to meet you in person, but I'm really glad I have the opportunity to connect with you virtually. So we'd like to share a little bit of information about the college, starting with a brief video.
The College of Arts and Sciences at Boise State houses a wide range of departments. We offer majors in the arts, humanities, sciences, and social sciences. But we also make important connections across our areas. For example, our commitment to interdisciplinary collaboration is on display in our School of the Arts. We've connected art, design, visual studies, music, theater, film, and creative writing under the umbrella of the School of the Arts. By bringing artists together across disciplinary areas, we inspire new forms of creative expression and invention. We also make connections through our innovative 3D program, where 3 minors form a major. For example, one of our graduates combined theater arts, secondary education, and music. She received a teaching internship, and now she's the head theater coach at a local high school, a position that she describes as her dream job. A current 3D student is working on a degree that combines biology, environmental studies, and visual arts. She is the Boise State Outdoor Program Manager, and she's pursuing a position with the National Outdoor Leadership School. Perhaps one of the most important features of the College of Arts and Sciences is that we are with you from the beginning. The GEM framework sets the standards for general education across the state of Idaho. They've identified 6 main areas of study: written communication, oral communication, and then the ways of knowing: mathematical, scientific, social and behavioral, and artistic and humanistic. These are the very same areas that comprise the College of Arts and Sciences. That means we help you build your foundation, and in some cases, that leads directly to your major. Or the courses may serve as the intellectual foundation that helps you thrive in your major and career. In many cases, students will seek opportunities to enhance their major with courses from the arts and sciences. Arts and sciences may seem very different. We believe they are stronger together. It's hard to imagine scientific innovation without creative thinking. And how would we successfully implement creative solutions without the structure of scientific thinking? You bring your passion, voice, and vision to the College of Arts and Sciences, and we help you find a path so that you can contribute meaningfully in the world.
That's a brief introduction to who we are in the College of Arts and Sciences. Now I'd like to introduce you to some of the key players on the Arts and Sciences leadership team. Again, I'm Leslie Durham, I'm the interim dean, and I'd like to introduce you first to our 4 associate deans. Kelly Myers, would you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kelly Myers. I am an interim associate dean in the College of Arts and Sciences and a faculty member in the English department. I teach writing and rhetoric courses, mostly argument. I am honored to be part of this team. I think that we are creative and inventive and collaborative in ways that inspire me every day, and I'm grateful to be part of this group.
Thank you, Kelly. Next up, Kathleen Keys.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kathleen Keys, and currently I'm working as the interim director for the School of the Arts, as well as an associate dean for the College of Arts and Sciences. Our new School of the Arts is finishing up its 3rd year, and that has been able to bring all of the arts departments on campus together to help us to better prepare artists and art scholars for a productive and full life dedicated to the arts during the 21st century. So there are definitely lots of different ways you can find out about the school. And it is one of my favorite reasons why I like to be working with COAS and at Boise State right now. It's enabled us to come together in innovative ways, to collaborate amongst and through the arts, but also with other entities on campus and through the greater community.
Thank you, Kathleen. Now I'd like to introduce you to CJ Northrup.
Hi, I'm CJ Northrup. I'm an associate dean in the college and a professor of geosciences. I teach classes in geology and tectonics, and I really enjoy working in the college because from this perspective, you get to interact with faculty and students from across all of those disciplines that you just heard about in the video. And it's remarkable that the kind of energy and dynamic connections that develop across lots of different disciplines, and it's fun to be a part of that. So we're here to help problem solve and help students and faculty be more successful day to day.
Thank you, CJ. And now Doug Bullock.
Hello, my name is Doug Bullock. I'm an associate dean in arts and sciences and a professor in the math department. I'm going to jump right to why I love working in the dean's office, and that's because I love being in school and I love being in college and I love the experience. And the dean's office is the place where I can do the most to make sure that you also love the experience of being a student at Boise State.
Lovely, thank you, Doug. Now I'd like to introduce you to Mackenzie Phillips.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie Phillips, the Director of Operations and Strategic Initiatives for the college. I love working at Boise State because it allows me to be a part of moving forward in innovative and collaborative ways. And I get to see the kind of good that we do, not only across campus, but in the community at large.
Thank you, Mackenzie. And now Kenna Cox.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kenna Cox. I'm the operations coordinator in the Dean's Office for the College of Arts and Sciences. I love working for COAS. Similar to what Doug said, I had a great experience in the college myself. I'm an alum of the College of Arts and Sciences, so I love to work with students and help them to have those same meaningful and life-changing experiences. I graduated with a degree in ethnic studies and a minor in Chinese. I had wonderful experiences with the sociology department and the Department of World Languages. I took Spanish on top of my Chinese courses. I loved the language labs. I participated in Chinese club and was able to MC for a large event on campus in Chinese, which was quite an opportunity. So I'm so happy to be back and working for the college where I graduated from, and thank you all for being here.
We have a great team, and we are here to support every student on their academic journey. As the video said, we are here with you from the beginning. Every student is an arts and sciences student thanks to our large participation in general education, and then we sustain that journey through a wide variety of majors and programs. And if students want to continue in their journey into graduate school, we also have lots of master's and PhD programs. So this is an incredible place to work. There isn't any better work to do than supporting all of you, and we are so happy to do it. So part of our job is getting to meet people, usually under different circumstances. And when we do, we tend to hear some kind of questions that repeat. And so we thought we'd share some of the questions that we often hear with you, as well as some of our answers. So my colleagues around the screen have already talked a little bit about why they love the College of Arts and Sciences. Did anybody not get to say what a piece of what they were thinking in that regard? If you'd like to jump in, raise your hand. Thank you, Kenna.
Another great experience that I had in my time studying under the College of Arts and Sciences was an internship for credit. In my ethnic studies major, I had the opportunity to work at the English Language Center for Refugees, where I taught English classes to full immersion adults who spoke no English at all. So it was an amazing experience that was pretty life impacting for me. And so take all of those opportunities that you can in your degree plan. If you can study abroad or do service learning projects or participate in internships, just any additional campus opportunity that you can take advantage of can really push you forward on your path. So I would recommend that.
Thank you, Kenna. Another question that we hear fairly often is, how might I pick a path if I'm not sure? I like lots of things and I don't know where to get started. So team, either from your own experience as a student or in some of the ways that you've worked with students recently, what's some advice you would give to future students who are trying to pick a path? How about a hand raise again?
Well, so that's a great question, and it's a common situation for students to be not completely sure what they want to study when they get to the university, or to have multiple interests. And actually, I think that's one of the great strengths of our triple discipline degree, is it lets you combine in a unique way a combination of things that you might feel passionate about, and let you build a way to sort of include a number of different things to reach a kind of a goal of your own choosing. As the video mentioned, we have some great success stories from students who've done that already, and we just love to see that happen.
Great. Yeah, Kenna.
Yeah, to add to that, as the video pointed out, we do contribute a lot to the foundational courses at the university. So if you're not sure yet what you want to do, it's not a waste of time. You can start with general ed and go from there. I personally changed my major about 3 times in the first year before I decided on what to study, and I was still able to finish in 4 years. So just be strategic with your planning and start with that general education, and then from dipping into all of those different areas, you can find where you'd really like to dive in.
Thanks, Kenna. Another question we get fairly often is, how can I make the most of my first year in college? What are the things that I should be thinking about? How can you help me problem solve? So team, what are some ideas you have for making the most of the start of a college journey?
I can start. So I think one of the best pieces of advice is to try to get outside your comfort zone. So, and by that I mean, checking out everything that is possibly available on campus, checking out the clubs, visiting different buildings, going to art openings in the cases of the arts, going to events. We have wonderful things all across the university, especially within the arts and sciences, but other kinds of ways that you can get involved on campus. And so it feels good to kind of stick with what you know, especially if you've already identified your passion for study, but also to allow yourself some time in that first year to really kind of go broad and think about really understanding all of the different wonderful facets and experiences that are available through the campus.
Yeah. Great answer, Kathleen. Doug, it looked like you were maybe going to share some thoughts as well.
Sure. I think this connects with what Kathleen said, but I'd say talk to people. In particular, your professors would love to talk to you. Drop by their offices, even if it's not necessarily to talk about classwork. Try to make those connections. And don't feel like those are like weird, different people that you aren't allowed to go see. They're waiting for you to drop by. And same for all the administrative people around campus, us here in the dean's office or people in departmental offices. Talk to people.
Excellent advice, Doug. Thank you. Yeah, Kelly.
I would just add that it's okay to not have it all figured out. I think there's pressure to know exactly what you want to do and how you're going to get there, and that you might feel like you're behind or failing if you don't know right away what you want to do. Give yourself some time to explore. It's okay to feel a little bit lost. Trust your gut, talk to people, follow your passion. I know there are real reasons why you might need to move as quickly as possible through your education, but don't be too hard on yourself. Like I said, if you don't know all the answers right away, we're here for you. Your professors are here for you. Your peers will help you along the way.
Thank you, Kelly. One of the things that I think students do feel pressure about, families feel pressure about, we appreciate how expensive higher education is and how important this is for you charting your future beyond the university as well. And so one of the questions we get fairly often is, can you talk to me about what sort of job opportunities I will have if I pursue a major in the College of Arts and Sciences? So maybe that's a question we can help people start to think about too. Would anybody like to start us off on an answer to the question of the perennial question, what will I be able to do with that? Yes, Mackenzie, thank you.
Yeah, so an interesting game that I like to play with my friends outside of academics is kind of the raise your hand if you actually use what your degree was in. And I think what that tells me is that we live in an adaptive society, and so many of us end up finding our passions, you know, maybe not that first year, like Kelly was saying, and maybe, you know, maybe our senior year, we decide we're really passionate about something that we haven't been studying. And the great thing about a liberal arts, general education style degree that we offer so many of in the College of Arts and Sciences is that you can really do anything. And I know that that maybe sounds a little hokey, but it's really true. We live in a world where hard skills, soft skills, science, arts, understanding people, understanding behavior, all of those can be wound into something that you feel really good about and that helps you make a difference in the world in your way. So your major isn't limiting you to any one certain career. It's just helping you build the skill set that's going to take you where you want to be.
I love that answer, Mackenzie. Thank you. And so maybe all of us could share, and some of your comments have already kind of moved in this direction, but let's try again. What prompted you to choose your field of study? And maybe as well, what was something outside of your main field of study that you continue to use in your work today? I think I'll start because I've been asking questions and not giving as many answers myself. And I don't think I told you what my home department is. My home department is theater, film, and creative writing. And by training, I'm a theater historian and a dramaturg, which is the person in a creative production who helps with background research and story development. And I picked theater because I love telling stories. I love seeing stories in action in real time and sharing them with a group of people inside the theater. There's nothing really that gives me more joy than that. And it's been wonderful being able to spend my life thinking about how we tell stories that matter to people and how we can come together as a community through story. So that's where I got started, I think. But I was also an English major, and so I use my written communication skills every day in my job. As Kelly was talking about the need to be able to make a strong argument verbally, that's definitely something that I do. I use the critical thinking skills that I got from both English and theater. I use the teamwork. I use the creativity. And I use the attention to detail and discipline that's required to get a play ready on time, on budget, for a group of people. So I loved the things that I studied, and they have served me well, not just as a professor, but as my job has changed quite a bit as being an academic leader. So team, what else? Tell us more about your study, how you got there, and how you keep using it. Thanks, CJ.
Yeah, that's a great question, and it was fun to sort of sit and reflect a little bit about kind of what the path was to get into my world. When I came to college, I was actually a non-traditional student, and so I had lived some life before that, and I was waiting tables in a restaurant, And one of the people that came through our restaurant happened to be a geologist, and he needed some help working on some rocks in California. So he invited me to come along. I think mostly he just needed somebody to carry rocks for him, but I went along. So I took a couple weeks off of working at the restaurant and drove with him from New Mexico out to California. And as we were driving through that country, he was explaining all of the things that had happened there in the geology that we were driving through it. And what became apparent to me was that the history of the earth was written in the rocks, and that there was this whole language that I wanted to learn. And so when I went back to school, I started to study that. And I love the science of it for sure. And I love learning the history and the narrative of the earth. But it's interesting to think about the other skills that we bring to bear. And I think some of the things that Leslie mentioned really resonated with me too. Learning to write and communicate well has been an invaluable skill. And even the arts. So when I go and work in the field, photography and actually freehand sketching, that are skills that are critical for me to record what I see in the rocks and to try to make interpretations about the geology of the area. So it's funny how many threads weave together the breadth of the different kinds of disciplines that we have in our college. And as Mackenzie mentioned, you never know what those skills are going to bring to you, and how, and the ways that they're going to be valuable to you, and when you finally find a career or different kinds of paths. So anyway, so that's how I ended up getting interested in geology, and then when I went to the university, it was kind of a natural path for me to follow.
Nice, thanks, CJ. Doug, what brought you to math?
I got seduced by the problems. They were just so interesting. And then once you look into them, it turns out that the depth is endless. You can spend, well, forever just going deeper and deeper and deeper. But yeah, that's terribly introspective by design, by its nature. And so I don't think that particular thing, although it was immensely rewarding to me personally, turned into a lot of, okay, here's useful skills in the real world. But one thing did emerge from that. And the things I was doing in that space were so complicated and abstract and frankly weird that you can't even communicate them to fellow mathematicians until you develop the skill of skimming something off the top that could actually make sense to a non-expert, and being able to say that in a way that makes sense to a non-expert. And then it turns out that's what I do all day long now with budget spreadsheets and other technical maneuvers involving operating the college. So that was a really, really useful skill, which served me very well everywhere from teaching freshman calculus all the way to trying to do a budget presentation now.
Nice, thank you, Doug. Mackenzie, what brought you to communication?
Yeah, so my background, as Leslie mentioned, is in communication with an emphasis in body language. And the reason that has always fascinated me is that I like to watch people. Sitting in an airport waiting on a layover has never been tedious for me, because I come up with stories about the folks that are sitting across from me, or the couple at the table at the restaurant next to me. I think people are fascinating, and I think understanding the ways that we communicate, even when we're not speaking, are really important. And what that is translated to in a professional realm is that my job deals with people all day long. And particularly in our college, people of very different expression styles, very diverse backgrounds. And it's really helpful that I have this grounded knowledge of how to communicate with most folks and how to adapt that communication as needed to make sure that my message is being understood and that I'm really hearing what people are both saying and hearing what they're not saying.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Kelly, what brought you to English?
Tried really hard not to be an English major, because even way back then there was the "what are you going to do with that" question, but I couldn't help it. I went to a small liberal arts college, and all the professors in the English department were on the third floor of Dante Hall, and I was just drawn there. I would just sit in the hallway outside their offices. I would go to every possible office hour, because it just felt like it was in my blood to study English and to be part of that work. And so I did. I ended up declaring the English major. And one thing I learned from it was the patience and the practice of really diving deeply into a text. I learned how to slow down and figure out how a thing is built. And that helps me every single day. I have a commitment to being process and not product driven in my work. And I learned that from the process of learning how to carefully read a text through my English major. You think about engineers as the ones who know how things are built, but us English majors, we have an understanding of that kind of engineering as well. And I bring that to everything I do.
Lovely, Kelly. Kathleen, talk to us about art and arts education.
Sure. So I started out with a studio degree in painting and also lots of other different arts disciplines that I studied, but I also identified with a little help from my father, but also fully believed I also needed to shore up some other skills. So I also studied arts administration. And then I looped back finally to art education. And I think the power of the arts is what drew me, and definitely my main discipline areas fall within the visual arts context. But more broadly, I've always, or did quickly become a person that believed in arts with an S, and the things about the arts that still I find so intriguing are just the endless innovation and creativity and problem solving. And so I think the skill that I take from that is that when some people could say, oh no, there's no way to do this, I quickly divorce myself from that sort of mindset and say, well, of course there's a different way to do it. We just haven't figured out what that is yet. So that problem solving nature is really a big point of that for me. Also, I was drawn to the way that the arts, and other disciplines do this obviously as well, but that the arts can generate community as well as provide different kinds of lenses for us to investigate and learn about things like diversity, equity, and inclusion. You had mentioned, Leslie, before asking us about kind of what kind of class did we take in undergrad that was really different, that helped us also to hone in different ways on our interests. And for me, that was anthropology. So I stepped into social sciences for a bit and was able to start making the connections with, oh, it's not only about producing artists and studying art, but that culture and the way that we live is such a huge factor in this. And then again, that linked up with the diversity and equity and inclusion issues as well.
Lovely, Kathleen, thank you. And that's a nice segue to Kenna, who, as she mentioned earlier, studied ethnic studies.
Yes, so how I came to Boise State, I have a college friend who likes to tease me that I exist because of Boise State, because my dad was a football player for the Broncos, and my mom was a cheerleader, and a few years down the line, I came to be. I came to Boise State not knowing what I wanted to do and diving into a bunch of different areas through those general education classes to figure it out. I landed on ethnic studies because I really enjoyed the well-rounded nature of the courses included. So some that still stand out to me today as being very helpful are intercultural communication. I still have books from my history courses and some English courses that just really stuck with me. So 10 years down the line, I still have some of those texts. I took a technical writing class that was really helpful for me, and I would say I use that pretty heavily in my job. Just, writing very clearly instructions for people and how to go about certain tasks. That's been helpful. So my Chinese minor came in very handy when I lived in China for 3 months, and really allowed me to dive into the culture. Being able to converse with people made a huge difference for my experience there. So I continue to study that, and I'm just very thankful for all of the experiences I had at Boise State. And I think that everything has brought me to where I am. So back home in my home college, happy to be here.
Thank you, Kenna. And thanks for listening to this overview of the College of Arts and Sciences. I hope you can hear how much all of us love what we do, how lucky we feel to do this work, and how eager we are to welcome you into the College of Arts and Sciences community. So if there's any other information that any of us can provide, please reach out to us. Our information is readily available on the College of Arts and Sciences website, and we would love to hear from you. Take care.
And we'd love to leave you with this short video as we say goodbye.
Yeah.